Hello, everybody. So today, Minnesota was kind of busy. We got the two signings and we got Holton Hill. This one's Holton Hill, and Holton Hill has found himself suspended for the first 4 games of the season due to violating the league's policy on performance enhancing drugs. Now, last season, Hill did make the team as an undrafted free agent out of Texas. He ended up playing in all 16 games, like appearing in some facet, and then ended up starting 3 of these 16 games. And I think he was able to perform well enough for Minnesota to kind of like what they see. And maybe if he takes another step or two, you could look at him as all the time starting outside corner. And what he did last year, he got 30 solo tackles, 6 assisted, so a grand total of 36 tackles. He got 1 tackle for loss. He got 1 interception. Didn't really go anywhere. He only got 2 yards on it. But he did have 7 pass deflections. So he kind of showed promise for what would be like a 4th-round rookie in some ways, and we got him undrafted. So, which begs the question, if Hill could stay clean and off the pipes or the drugs or whatever you want to call it, um, he could be a potential building block for this defense for years to come. And because he's always been talented, that's what he's always been. He's always had this talent. He's always been a bigger corner. He's always been longer. He's always been quick. He's always been fast. He's always had these natural athletic abilities, and he's always kind of performed well. But the thing that made him go undrafted wasn't really on the field stuff. It was the fact that he had a whole bunch of marijuana issues back at Texas. And now we have this to where it's like, are they starting up again? Is this going to be another issue? Is he going to have to be thrown off the team because of this kind of stuff and then, just can't get off of it? Just one of these kind of situations, which would really suck because I think he could potentially be the replacement for Trae Waynes once he leaves, and that would be huge just to be able to have him already in-house and not have to draft one. And even if Mackenzie Alexander ends up leaving, because it's also his rookie year, his contract year from his rookie year deal, you could look at Hughes on the inside, Hill on the outside, and Rhodes on the other side. And if Hill took the necessary steps, you might be okay with that. So it really sucks knowing that a month of development is taken away from him, knowing that. And it really does suck because I think there is potential here for him to be a starting corner. And they did just sign Duke Thomas out of the AAF. I do have a video on that, but that does help replace some depth at the position. And I know some may try to ask, like, okay, so I guess Trae Waynes' talk is done, right? It's done, over, just nope, not happening because of this Holton Hill thing. So does it erase it? For now. It does for now. And what I mean by that is probably till the draft. And I think we all know Zimmer loves his corners. And like I just said, you have both Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander entering their contract year. And given how money is, if you can't keep one of them or either of them, that's going to probably greatly affect how they approach this draft. We could easily see a corner get drafted in the first 3 rounds this year. Don't know if it's going to be the first, second, or third, just because of how this team is. They really need some offensive linemen and as well, and that's kind of like the glaring need. But if they don't view an offensive lineman good enough to be drafted at 18, don't be surprised if it's another corner, because we do have 2 guys who are of starting caliber hitting the market next year. And if you can't re-sign them both, or even just one of them, and have Holton Hill in the back, then it becomes a big need if you don't address it this offseason a little bit. So if they don't find one that's good enough at 18, they'll find a defensive back probably that's good enough for 18, which in some ways is a little disappointing. And I think we just all know Zimmer loves his corners, and that's how this team is going to be built. It's built off the defense and its secondary, and that's how Zimmer wants it ran. So I think it just erases it for now until the draft to see how that plays out, because let's say they get a Julian Love in like the second round, second, third round, whatever it may be. All of a sudden, that's an outside bump and run guy. Waynes is on the table again. It's like those kind of things can really make that go up. And I would like to know what you guys think down in the comments below about Hill or any of the other stuff I said. And till next time, I bid y'all adieu.